Have you ever met a woman who doesn't fit into any category? She's not an alpha, she's not a beta, and yet she commands respect without ever demanding it? She moves through life like a shadow, unbothered by expectations, immune to drama, and yet, somehow, she draws people in without even trying. That, my friend, is the enigma of a Sigma female. A woman who doesn't follow the rules of society, relationships, or power structures. And here's the thing, if you've ever loved a Sigma female, or if you are one, you already know she's not like the rest. She won't chase, she won't beg, and she won't tolerate nonsense. She lives by a philosophy that's strikingly close to the wisdom of the Stoics, focused on self-mastery, control over emotions, and an unshakable sense of purpose. But here's the catch. Many people misunderstand her. Some men fear her. Some women envy her. And those who fail to recognize her power, they often lose her. So if you want to understand a Sigma female, or if you think you might be one, watch this video until the end. Because once you do, it might just change your love life forever. And before we begin, if you love deep, thought-provoking content on Stoicism, relationships, and human nature, make sure to subscribe to Stoic Lifeline and hit the like button. Now, let's dive in. Sign 1. She chooses solitude over validation. Is there a person you've loved who never asked for your help? Without coming across as aloof or uncaring, but rather in a way that helped you see that they could handle themselves just fine? They weren't trying to get your attention or wait for your messages, yet you still couldn't shake the feeling that they were there. Those are the Sigma females. Her need for approval is non-existent. For her, approval isn't everything. She stands apart in a society where being seen, loved, and respected is a major obsession, simply because she doesn't require any of that. Permit me to take things to a more intimate level now. Consider your previous romantic partnerships. Is there anyone you've dated that required reassurance all the time? Somebody who felt they required approval from others all the time in order to feel good about themselves? Perhaps they might become irate if you failed to respond quickly enough by SMS. Or perhaps they just needed to be the focus of attention everywhere they went. On the other hand, perhaps they looked to you to satisfy their loneliness. Do you remember how draining that was? That is the unique quality that sets the Sigma female apart. She doesn't seem to be seeking a partner when you first meet her. It's complete for her. She has no evidence to back her claims. It's safe for her now. Envision being at a social gathering where one particular woman isn't vying for attention. She is simply there, serene and absorbed in her own thoughts. She is not posting constant updates on social media or putting on an act. Her self-assurance is charming rather than ostentatious. Rather, it remains calm, confident, and unfazed. This is the most absurd part. Even if she isn't trying to attract attention, she manages to acquire it. Why isn't she trying to impress anyone? Men ask her in astonishment. Why is she so relaxed? Due of her independence from the unwritten societal norms of validation, women observe her with interest and, at times, jealousy. Stoic wisdom is profoundly ingrained in this quality. A quote from Marcus Aurelius goes something like, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The Sigma female has an innate understanding of this. She doesn't allow other people to determine her happiness. Instead, she seeks it within herself. Unfortunately, this is a major reason why people have a hard time understanding her. Because she is so alone, some guys think she is unfeeling. She is considered haughty by some females. As for individuals who require continual affirmation, because she isn't in it with them, they find her scary. But you know the truth in your heart. This kind of lady isn't icy, she's simply picky. People aren't pushed away from her. She just doesn't pursue them. That is the thing that sets her apart from the rest, my buddy. Is this someone you've encountered before? Perhaps this individual is you. Post a comment and tell me. Sign 2. She's immune to emotional manipulation. What follows is a discussion of an experience that you have most likely had. Consider your previous romantic partnerships. Is that anything you've experienced? Perhaps someone hooked you by providing the bare minimum of attention you needed to stay engaged, but never enough to make you feel safe. Alternatively, they may have manipulated you into thinking you were morally obligated to ensure their happiness. Perhaps their goal would be to test your mettle by being distant, ignoring your communications, and then reappearing as if nothing had transpired. It was painful, wasn't it? The Sigma female stands apart for this same reason. Manipulation is as transparent to her as glass. Mental ploys don't sway her. She is able to keep her emotions under check. Because emotional manipulators despise women they are unable to manage, she poses a threat because of this. Envision this. A guy makes an effort to provoke her jealousy. Maybe he tries to catch her attention by making sexual advances to other women while she's around. Most women would go along with it. They'd become furious, start pursuing, and attempt to show how valuable they are. The Sigma female, though, she shows no emotion at all. She fails to fulfill his desires. She opts not to dispute. Her goal is not to compete. A considerably more potent alternative is that she withdraws from society. She departs. There is no drama. Keep it calm. You can't take it back. Out of nowhere. It hits him. His strategy was a bust. He is the one who ends up asking, "Why didn't she care?" rather than making her chase. She should have fought for me. The strength of a Sigma female is that. Control what you can, let go of what you can't, is a fundamental Stoic philosophy that she lives by. While she may not be able to influence the actions of those around her, she is in charge of her own reactions. And in cases when she detects deceit, silence and remoteness are her greatest power moves. Allow me to pose a question to you now. When was the last time someone attempted to influence you? Perhaps they succeeded in making you feel bad about things that were really not your fault. Perhaps they punished you by keeping quiet. Perhaps they caused you to doubt your own value. Suffocation is an accurate description, as anyone who has been there will attest. It casts doubt on your abilities. It forces you to doubt the truth. The Sigma female, though, no longer will she be used as a pawn in someone else's game. Fixing other people isn't something she bothers with. Those who manipulate her will not be given a second opportunity. At whatever cost, she will defend her tranquility. What makes her so effective is that she forces genuine connections rather than giving in to emotional games. A man must be sincere if he wants her presence in her life. Nothing sly. Absolutely no games. Simple, unfiltered communication. In a world where manipulation is rampant, yeah, that's crazy. Have you ever encountered a lady of this nature? Alternatively, would you prefer to be more like this? Message me in the space provided. Sign 3. She doesn't chase. She attracts. What if someone didn't want you? Have you ever pursued after them? Give an honest account. Perhaps you believed that if you could only demonstrate your value, care, and devotion by doing more, loving harder, and giving your all, they would return your love. However, what transpired? They drew away from you the more you pursued. The moment you stopped trying, became self-absorbed, and gave up, they returned with a vengeance. Does this ring a bell? The Sigma female differs in this regard. No one catches her eye. Never mind a guy, forget about popularity or friendships. She isn't the type to grovel for attention, affection, or worth. How about the paradox? She commands attention without exerting any effort. Just picture this. A guy who's accustomed to ladies going gaga over him. He's accustomed to pulling pranks and making ladies anxious and uncertain of themselves. Then, though, he encounters her. A lady who isn't clinging to him like a flower. A lady who remains unfazed by his antics. This is a lady who will not double text, beg, or wait by the phone if he stops phoning. Instead, she carries on with her life as usual. Out of nowhere, it's him who is perplexed. Why doesn't she pursue? Her lack of effort is confounding. In what ways is she unique? The strength of a Sigma female is this. As she puts it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. This is a Stoic tenet that she lives by. Discover this, and you'll discover your inner strength. True value is demonstrated through self-respect, not desperation, she realizes. So, she doesn't worry about getting a man's attention as other women do. Achieving her objectives is her focus. She expands her understanding. She is very careful to keep her tranquilly intact. Then what takes place? Her charisma draws others to her. She exudes an irresistible magnetic energy, and it's not because she's attempting to impress anybody. Her attention is scarce, therefore men desire it. Because she defies insecurity, she is admired by women. And what about those who attempt to control her? Her invulnerability becomes apparent to them immediately. Now we can return to this for you. Is there ever a time when you feel like you need to demonstrate your value to someone? They could have seemed remote. Perhaps they succeeded in making you feel inadequate. Perhaps they made you wonder, what can I do to win their love? Just for a second, picture yourself walking away instead of chasing. Envision a world where you prioritized your well-being, your calm, your self-assurance, and your respect for yourself. In your opinion, what would transpire? Once you let go of the pursuit, you'll be the one they can't forget. And there is the secret of the Sigma female, my buddy. Can you say that this has ever happened to you? Just drop a remark telling me. Sign 4. She's unapologetically authentic for the moment. Let's face reality. How many times have you felt the need to alter for the sake of fitting in? To avoid disagreement, perhaps you have kept your ideas to yourself. To be more likable in a relationship may have been a goal of yours. To avoid coming across as too much, perhaps you have pretended not to care even when you really did. And yet, you managed to lose touch with who you really are while doing it. The Sigma female, though, that is a game she never plays. She is authentic and doesn't put on an act. She is unapologetic about who she is. In order to make other people feel at ease, she doesn't hold back. She wholeheartedly embraces her authentic self. People are scared of this, I can tell you. Envision this. A guy meets a lady who makes no effort to win him over. She's not laughing out loud at jokes that don't make her laugh. She's not feigning a lack of emotion when she's actually quite upset. Defying his expectations, she is not changing who she is. Rather, she expresses herself freely. She is really picky. Her views are known. She is unconcerned whether they manage to frighten him away. Why is this even necessary? It distinguishes between guys with strength and those without. A fragile guy will find her difficult, too much, and wish she were softer, quieter, and easier to handle. A powerful guy, though, she will earn his respect. Her self-assurance will impress him. When he meets a woman who is secure in her own identity, he will value her more than 100 women who put on airs. Because of this, Sigma females are extremely rare. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. These are the words that guide her daily life. But what about her situation? She doesn't squander energy attempting to conform to societal norms. She just is. Instead, I'd like to focus on you. When you wanted love, did you ever feel like you had to put on a mask? Have you ever been pressured to alter your beliefs, character, or aspirations in order to meet the expectations of another person? Was it a source of joy for you? That kind of self-betrayal is unacceptable to the Sigma female. She isn't here to be loved, therefore it doesn't matter whether people think she's too independent, too opinionated, or too different. Here, she intends to be authentic. The fact is this: she may be misunderstood. Some people will feel threatened, some people will just quit. Who nevertheless remains? Those who perceive her in her genuine form? They will hold her in the highest esteem possible. Have you ever encountered someone similar? Maybe you're not like this at all. Message me in the space provided. Sign 5. She values loyalty over popularity. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been deceived by someone you trusted? A buddy may have been the one who spoke ill of you behind your back. Perhaps the object of affection prioritized fame over commitment. Perhaps it was someone who pretended to care, but then vanished whenever it wasn't convenient for them. Do you feel the pain? As for the most unfortunate aspect, people who present themselves as the most loyal, committed, trustworthy, etc., are the ones that ultimately prove to be the most unfaithful. Here, picture a lady who exemplifies the polar opposite. A lady who is faithful in practice, not only in rhetoric. A lady who isn't willing to cross any line to fit in. An individual who, despite the pressure to conform, remains loyal to the individuals who truly matter in her life. Those are the Sigma females. She is unconcerned with her popularity. A multitude of insincere acquaintances won't serve her. She doesn't seek out company in order to alleviate feelings of isolation. On the contrary, she is quite protective of the few individuals in her life that she can trust implicitly, or perish trying for her. The other side, though, she is looking for the same degree of devotion from you. What if someone were to betray her? She remains calm. She refrains from pleading for an account. She refuses to take the victim card. Without a word, she just disappears. Forever. You can't take it back. Please provide a justification. There is no drama. For her, all that matters is being faithful. Let your mind wander to times gone by. Did you ever date someone who prioritized their own attention above yours? Possibly their intention in flirting with other people was to provoke jealousy in you. Perhaps they entertained others in secret, without you knowing. They may have made you feel expendable, like a number, rather than an individual. Please describe how that made you feel. That is never how a Sigma female will make her people feel. She loves strongly when she loves. Her commitments are unwavering. She expects the same treatment from others as a result. She's very difficult for males because of it. Reason being, she is different from the ladies they usually encounter. Insincere affection is not something she will stand. Subpar work will not be tolerated by her. Without provocation, discussion, or hesitation, she disappears the moment she detects the slightest suspicion of betrayal. And the thing is, when she finally departs, they grieve the loss of her every time. She is different from other women because she never acquiesces when disrespected, begs to be picked, or waits for an apology. And it is what truly sets her apart. Have you ever encountered someone similar? Is this the kind of self-respect you aspire to? Leave a comment with your ideas. Sign 6. She's emotionally independent. Just for a second, let's not pretend. When you're in a relationship, have you ever felt that you had to control the other person's feelings? You could have felt that they would stop being sad if you loved them deeply. Perhaps they made it appear like your pleasure was contingent upon them by using guilt trips to manipulate you. Perhaps they would let you know if you would intervene quickly if they broke down over anything little. Perhaps you did too. Or perhaps you made an effort to be perfect in their eyes. Perhaps you bore their fears, anxieties, and need for continual affirmation. It felt fantastic at first, to be relied on and needed. Though gradually, you were drained. It seemed like your efforts were always in vain. Turn the tables on each other now. Envision a lady who is strong enough to survive on her own. A lady who doesn't let other people carry the burden of her feelings. An independent woman who doesn't go on men for validation, comfort, or therapy. Those are the Sigma females. One of the fundamental Stoic precepts has now clicked with her. You control your thoughts, not the world around you. Put simply, you are the only one responsible for managing your emotions. No one else is responsible for her emotions, in her opinion. She is not looking for someone else to save her. She is capable of handling her emotions independently. When she's having trouble, she tackles it head-on. Is this the reason? Relationships with her are always smooth sailing. people don't feel emotionally drained by her. For the sake of her ego, she doesn't fabricate drama. Feeling loved doesn't necessitate regular reinforcement for her. Peace is what she provides instead. And believe me when I say this is unusual. Just because the majority of individuals nowadays rely on others emotionally. They look on their partners to alleviate their fears, console them when they're down, and correct their anxieties. The Sigma female, though, she has made her decision. Whatever she's going through, she manages to get through it. She deals with her feelings of depression in secret. No matter how hard life hits her, she always gets back up. Because of this, men have strong feelings about her, love or terror. Because they desire a lady who will rely on them, weak guys are scared to approach strong women. They are emotionally dependent and require someone who clings and demands attention constantly. But robust males, she is well admired by them, because she is the type of woman who selects a man only for romantic reasons, not because she needs him. And it changes everything. Do you have any experience with emotionally exhausting relationships? Is this the kind of emotional strength you aspire to be? Message me in the space provided. Conclusion. Everybody can't be a Sigma female. Many people underestimate her, misjudge her, and even fear her. On the other hand, her admirers, they are aware that she is unique. Please tell me in the comments if this is something you can connect to or if you know someone who can. As an added bonus, please like and subscribe to Stoic Lifeline TM if you found this analysis of Stoic philosophy and relationships to be helpful. So until next time, I appreciate you tuning in.